Yo, what's going on, fam? What time is it? 9:56. I know I'm a little later than usual, but I wanted to make sure I get, you know, uh moonlighting as Coach Dukes right now, so I had to get my boy Cam settled, get dinner done and all of that. But now we in the building, man. As you come in, drop your location, drop where you from, drop what you want to talk about. Philip Dukes, aka Dukes D Scoop. We are Monday night live, usually I'm gonna get on a better schedule this year, but now we got a lot to talk about. Preseason going on. This is the week, cut week. Yep. Shoot. Now fall camp is over with. For those who joined for the Auburn footage, shoot, starting game planning now. Same thing when it comes to Colorado. It's up. It's up. UGA. It's up. The Falcons, one more preseason game. The Browns, one more preseason game. It's up. Now I gotta look, yeah, I got a new setup, man. So my monitor is my TV, so I can't read as well the comments. My boy Apostle 06 in Jonesboro. What's happening, my boy? Roddy Dinkin from the 912. Sonya, I almost said Jalen. That's Joy Lynn. Sonya, what's up, Sonya? Sports Conversations with Chris, Dayton, Ohio, for sure. Birmingham, 205 in the building. Cuz, what's happening, my cousin? What's going on, cuz? Lady C, what's happening? Chi-Town in the building. What's that? Is that the 312? Is Chicago 312? My boy Ken Hudson from the 502. District Heights, Maryland, Michigan. Oh, now Chi-Town in the house for sure. 813 in the building. Oh man, Sabrina, the one time you ain't tell me to go do my monetization, I ain't do it. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, y'all gotta let me know. Does this setup look a little clearer than normal? Even if it's a little bit clearer, then I'm happy because I got rid of the whole setup. Computer, monitor, all of that. Now you see we got the shoes in the background and all of that. So the camera angle is different. Or should I go back to the old one? No, I'm not going back to the old one because we can watch live video. Now, if anybody saw the video that I did on Shedeur and the Dylan Gabriel statement this weekend, you can see that now when I play video, it don't look like I'm playing it over a 8-track display or whatever. Definitely looks a little better as far as the replay, so we got to stick with that. But I can go back to my old camera, so y'all let me know what y'all think. But I'm about to go turn the monetization on. Okay. Oh my goodness, that's the wrong YouTube channel. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Dukes to School. We are at 13,000 subscribers, man. We got here fast, dog. 13,000 subscribers, man. Thank everybody. I appreciate it. Let's go live right quick. Boom, monetization. Now we getting paid. All right, all right. And even if you don't drop a super chat, if you don't drop a super like, just drop a regular like. That's free. Kenneth Hudson said the video is clear as the dirty games they playing with 12. Yeah, man. They go, man. Real folks be tripping. Yo, all right, let me go through the comments. My bad, I missed y'all. Miss Dawn Duncan said, so what we doing? Little thrower, Fat Don. Lindsay from the 205. Salty Vet, what's up, my boy? Okay, facts definitely in 4K now. Okay, good. Penix taking out. Matty Dubs, when we working, man? Matty Dubs, when we working? Nobody had better videos on Shedeur during camp than Matty Dubs. Shout out to Matty Dubs. If y'all haven't already seen his channel, make sure you go follow my man Matty Dubs. absolutely Penix taking off this year, Matty Dubs, for sure. Boy, Pete D said, "Oh, now dudes win 4K." Salty Vet said, "I got 9 subscribers. Hey, got to start somewhere. I had 9 before too, for sure." C Hall, Duluth in the building. Yeah, real Gwinnett. Metro Atlanta. KC Frankie, Kansas City in the house. 816 in the building. All right, where y'all want to start? Y'all know so I already did a video about the Dylan Gabriel stuff. Joe Flacco was named the starter in Cleveland today. Did they put out did they put out the rest of the depth chart today? Or was it just a starter announced? If anybody knows, drop it in. Tuscaloosa in the building. Okay, so the video looking clear. I appreciate y'all. All right, so it looks like Shedeur still 4th on the depth chart. Possible 6 asks, they keeping Shedeur or they trading him? What are your thoughts? I think they got to keep him. I think you got to. I think if anything, now if you do trade him, what do you get for a 5th rounder same year as the draft? But him being traded to a team that actually, values him at this point, that you got to think there has to be at least. Let's go through the quarterback situations. We can just start. You know what? Let's pull up the NFL right quick. This is something I couldn't do before that we can do now. NFL depth charts. NFL standings. Let's start there. Start here, y'all. All right. We're going to share this. All right, so I'm sharing this just so we can see. Just so we can see the teams that are available. All right, so the Bills, no. Dolphins, could they use a 2 for an off-injured tour? Intriguing. Patriots, they got a young quarterback. Jets, Justin Fields experience. He's only on a 2-year contract. Maybe the Jets want some security right there. Broncos, Bo Nix, probably not. Chiefs, nope. Raiders, they got Geno Smith. But is he your long-term solution? I don't know, but he's pretty healthy, so I probably wouldn't say that. And the Chargers, they got Justin Herbert. All right. Let me pull the rest of this team up. Texans, no. Texans, no deal. Colts. The Colts just got a little more interesting because they got Daniel Jones. And right now, I'm not sure if the word came out yet, but Daniel Jones and Anthony Rich, I don't know if the Colts know if they have their guy. I would watch the Colts. Could be a really interesting place. They don't really have a guy. They want Anthony Richardson, but just the injury history plus some of the questionable stuff on field, like, when he pulled himself out of the game last year, maybe the Colts wouldn't mind taking a shot at Shedeur. Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. They're doing everything to make sure he is the guy. That contract is an albatross. Probably not, but possible. Titans, nah, Cam Ward. So out of the AFC, I would say Colts, Jets, Steelers still need somebody. Maybe the Steelers, Steelers actually do still need somebody. They only got Aaron Rodgers. So I would say let's go Colts, Jags, Steelers. Nobody in the AFC West. Jets, Dolphins. These are all teams that I could see needing a real number 2 guy that could be a starter. Let's go to the NFC. Cowboys, I think they're solidified. The Giants, I think, obviously not. Eagles, no. Commanders, no. Cardinals would be really interesting to see what they would be with the more traditional pocket passer who has a different frame and profile than Kyler Murray. The Cardinals could be interesting. I think the Rams, they have a lot of quarterbacks. Stetson Bennett played really well yesterday. Maybe they feel like he's the future. 49ers, Brock Purdy. The Seahawks. Sam Darnold feels like more of a stopgap than your future. Bears, no. Caleb Williams. Lions, nah. Jared Goff, Jordan Love, J.J. McCarthy for the Vikings. Nah, nobody in NFC North I would see doing that. Here's a team right here. Now, as a Falcons fan, I would be sick about it. But the Saints, that's the team. So, just calling a spade a spade. I think we had like 8, 9 teams, right? Coach Dre, what's happening, my boy? Oz Brian said, who's the Raiders' backup? I don't know. Let's find out. If anybody who dropped a comment, I was on another screen, so I didn't see it. I'm going to go up here and look at some of the chats. But you got plenty of people who could make a move for Shedeur. Cam Miller for the Raiders. Okay, cool. Let me see. Raiders back up. Oh, ain't no color. I'm tripping. Hey, you'll see ain't no color. Right. Say Goff threw 4 or 5 interceptions in the playoffs. But I think that we are all under the assumption that wherever Shedeur goes, if he were to go somewhere, it would be the biggest story in NFL. Absolutely. But yeah, man, I just don't see the Browns letting it go. They already got their quarterback competition DVD. You feel me? Like, or not DVD, but documentary. Like, bro, do you think they do that with Dylan Gabriel? Imagine how interesting their quarterback documentary would be with Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco. How interesting would that be? Browns ain't done. I don't see them. I don't see a world where Shedeur gets traded. I just don't see it. Shedeur would have to go out and really just play horribly. I don't even think they trade him if you just can't trade him. Why would you? The biggest draw right now, is there a bigger draw in the NFL individually? Let's talk about that. Is there a bigger draw in the NFL individually than Shedeur Sanders today? As a backup quarterback. Somebody name a name. You can be a hater or not. Is there a bigger draw? We taking football out of it. Football, just everything else. Is there a bigger draw in the NFL than Shedeur Sanders? I would like to say no. when somebody comes to town, who do I have to go see play? Now, LeBron comes to Atlanta, he packs it out. This is basketball. LeBron comes to Atlanta, packed house. A lot of people like to go see Kevin Durant when he comes. Football wise, who comes to Atlanta and you just got to go see him play? Lamar. People want to see Lamar. But outside of that, ain't no damn way. No way. Kenneth Hudson said 12 to the Panthers. I don't think so. Travis Hunter. People, I, I, I still don't think Travis Hunter right now is the draw that Shedeur is. Like, even right now, Travis Hunter is going both ways, and he's still, right now, Shedeur is still dominating the headlines. For sure. Perry Unlikely said, ludicrous, boy, you crazy. LD was 73. Why is Pickett quarterback too? He is hurting the locker. I couldn't even tell you. But yeah, so look, this is what I'm gonna do. Y'all remember about 2 weeks ago. Y'all remember 2 weeks ago when I said when the first depth chart came out, and I was like, just be cool. It's gonna work out. I think now, even after the little controversy this weekend with Dylan Gabriel with the tongue-in-cheek comment about entertainers versus competitors, I think things are favoring Shedeur in more ways than one. I think just look at it. Joe Flacco is 40, 41 maybe. How old is Joe Flacco? Let's find out. Joe Flacco age. Well, y'all know I'm enjoying being able to pull everything up on this computer, man. Shout out to Apple, man. I got the Mac. This man, all right. Joe Flacco was born in 1985. That's the punchline. That's it. Joe Flacco was born in 85. If he makes it 16 games, 17 games, I mean, he deserves it. It's the NFL. There are just physical limitations when it comes to playing in the NFL. So Joe Flacco started. I'm not wishing any bad on him, but everybody, like, he doesn't even have to take a hard hit to have to miss time. It can just be maintenance stuff with Joe Flacco. All right, so you got Joe Flacco, and then possibly Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett, one of those two. Okay. I mean, neither one of those just really scares you like they're going to light it up. Then you got Shedeur. Where if Shedeur hits the practice squad and goes to another team, the Browns know football as well. Regardless of how much, people say that the Browns are mistreating them and the Browns ain't doing them right, which I'm with you. But they also know football enough to not put him on the practice squad and watch him become somebody else's franchise savior without any compensation. All teams have to do is call the Browns bluff. That's it. Call the Browns bluff. Now we ain't gonna trade nothing for him. We ain't drafting. We ain't trading nothing for him. Make him put him on the practice squad. This Shedeur becomes at that point, after the waiver wire, I'm not even sure. Let me see. I'm not even sure how that works going into the season. I just don't see them putting him on the practice squad. No way. No way they put him on the practice squad. No way. they and there's even less chance that they cut him outright. It just wouldn't make sense. But if they do, let's say the Browns lose their mind even more, and they do cut Shedeur, or they do put him and they put him on the practice squad, whatever. That should be a celebration for Shedeur fans because now he gets to pick his spot. And I just don't think there's any way you can watch his performance in game one and don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I look for him to have to repeat his performance in game three. I think how much better are the Browns? Somebody mentioned that the Browns have 2 first-round draft picks, and I would never talk about the Browns and use the word savvy in the same sentence when it comes to how they've been running their organization. But also, how much better would the Browns be next year with 2 first-round picks since Shedeur is your starting quarterback? What Lauren Hill say? It could all be so simple. Man. It could all be so simple. Somebody said Shedeur need to hire Nicole Lynn immediately. Shout out to Clutch. Shout out Nicole. I got to meet her last year. Super cool. Savage Gala is crazy. That boy said Stank Fansky. Try to tell up. Man, I ain't gonna lie. After the game, though, I just know it's something bigger in there. And I always go back to the conversation I had with Bucky. If you haven't seen it, everybody's seen it by now, but just go back. If you're new to the channel, go look on the playlist. I think I put it on the Colorado Scoop playlist because it's dealing with ex-Colorado players. And but I got Coach Prime's son, Deion Sanders Jr., Osaka, and Bucky. And we had a really good conversation. He talks about the silver lining to the cloud that came along with the NFL draft. And that was that it's just a setup for him to be able to give God the glory in the end. When he said that, I hear that every time somebody says the Browns are mistreating Shedeur. And I'm like, oh, yep. Minor setback, major comeback. The nerves that people had about Shedeur playing in the first game, like what are they going to do? Even I got him towards game time because Shedeur transcends just a football game. And this dude is, I don't want to say icon, but this dude represents more than a quarterback and the son of Deion Sanders. He's representing the culture. Some of that stuff, man, I ain't gonna lie though. Now, I try to be cool as possible. Y'all know I'm real fair. But when he was mic'd up and, he was talking to Andrew Berry, that was such a weird interaction. Could you imagine having a 22-year-old quarterback who's been through a ton be as happy as Shedeur was and say something like, hey, man, you proud? Oh, no, man. You kind of, take that. You don't even like, yeah, man, proud. How easy would it have been to just say, yeah, man, proud of you, man, but you got to keep working? How easy would that have been? And I was like, man, Andrew Berry, you type, I want to say, what type ninja are you? And I was like, bro, come on now. I've been trying to like Andrew Berry, but good gracious, I was like, that was damn near painful. Like, why would you even say something like that? Yeah, but Shedeur, but you know what's funny? Shedeur, like, it's so funny. Like, yeah, you were the player now, buddy. That's something I would have said. I've been in places where I've been in management where I knew I was doing my thing, regardless if they like, so back when I started, in the corporate field or whatever, like, forearm tattoos weren't like the deal. Like, like a forearm sleeve, right? Like these type of tattoos, like in upper management, they weren't, like if you shouldn't wear short sleeves or stuff like that with that on there, with stuff like that on. And I knew I used to make certain people uncomfortable. But those were the people that I smiled with the most. Those were the people that I went out of my way to make sure that, hey, bro, you see I'm a good person, right? Okay, so you hating on me as you. That's more of a reflection of you. You not liking me is more of a reflection on you than it is on me. And I think Shedeur understands what's going on. I don't think Shedeur doesn't understand that there's some weird stuff going on. Like that was such a weird interaction. But Shedeur balled. But what he did that I love was that he keeps the smile on his face, man. You feel me? He keeps the smile on his face, dog. Savage Gala said he reached out to Trump 2.5 weeks ago. Boy, you crazy. And it's just like the whole situation has been weird from day one in Cleveland. I don't know why, man. Bears trying to get away. That is funny. TLK 23, boy, you crazy. Said Bears trying to get away from 12. 12 had him on camera. Like, yeah. 12 like, nah, come here, boy. Come here, big dog. Yeah. I think, and this is one of the things about Shedeur that I'll say I enjoy talking about is that I was having a conversation about, we were talking about dogs and on the football field, guys who are overly motivated to succeed. And you don't, but let's just talk about a real dog, right? Just a animal, a dog. And we use those analogies so often. People always expect the dogs that come from meager beginnings that have to fight for everything to automatically be better and have more bite than a breed or that was raised in, I guess, better circumstances. But what people don't realize is how important the bloodline is in dogs. So I know it seems like everybody's trying to break Shedeur. But when we say he's a dog, the most important part of Shedeur being a dog is the bloodline. He's been prepped for this moment for day one. I don't think there aren't a lot of people who could have withstood the scrutiny, the online slander, the attacks that Shedeur and his family had upon them during the draft, the process, all of that. Be taken from a first round pick to a fifth round pick. Literally be walking with your teammate and they say, nope, that couldn't be your teammate. That's your entourage. Right? And still ball out, have the GM look at you weird and still have a smile. Yeah. Martin Luther Duke's on the way. Hold up, y'all. Let's see if I got a little jacket in him. Give me a little fake tie. So hold on. Martin Luther Duke's on the way. Uh-oh. Man. Let's go back. Everything that Shedeur's been through, right? For him to still walk around with a smile, let's talk about what takes smiles away. People, parents, you know what took away my smile back in the day and will still take away my smile today sometimes. Back in the day, what was the get the fight free card at school back in the day? If you got in the fight, it was cool. It was two things. Couldn't nobody call you an N-word, but more importantly, they be talking about my mama. Can't be talking about my dad. You don't talk about nobody's parents. Shedeur Sanders is almost up like this. All they do is talk about his daddy. That's all. That's all people do. Shedeur Sanders could be a certified crash out and he wouldn't be wrong. They literally dropped this man in the draft where he was meeting with owners and GMs and, things that top 5 picks get. Top 5 picks don't fall to the 5th round. But even so, even though he reaped a harvest that he didn't sow, he kept a smile. Imagine you planting all the seeds that should have gave you a beautiful tree, and they gave you a decrepit flower or something. They just gave you something that you didn't even plant. Imagine planting this big, beautiful apple tree, and you get one apple, a rotten apple at that. Would you be able to keep a smile? Would you be able to keep a smile? The sense of pride that our community has, and they wonder, like, oh, why does Shedeur have all these fans? We're watching modern day buck breaking in live TV. Y'all want to go there? We're watching modern day buck breaking in live time, and this young man is handling it with a smile. Y'all hear me? So when people continuously say, I know, I get it. Literally, people, as much, and this is goes deeper. This is for the culture. This is for a lot of people right here. I want y'all to do something. Make sure you put as much energy lifting up Shedeur online as you do bashing the Browns. For those that there's a lot of people that go, and rightfully so. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people mad at the Browns for the handling of this situation. But make sure you go uplift Shedeur, because every time he smiles in the camera, he's defeating what some people would allow them to take him into a totally different person. He's defeating a spirit of depression. He's defeating a spirit of anxiety. Every time he smiles, he's defeating spirits for the culture. Y'all want to talk about generational curse breakers? Okay, cool. This is why this situation is so much bigger. We can go there. This is my show. We can go there. Y'all want to go? Y'all want to go? We could just go. Let's go. The truth of the matter is, you don't get a testimony without a what? The truth of the matter is, you don't get a testimony without a what? Drop it in the comment. Drop it in the comments. You don't get a testimony without a what? Hello? Hello? No test, no testimony. When have you seen Shedeur complain about his test? We do the complaining about his test. When have you seen Shedeur complain about his test? Okay, cool. We have to be sure that we understand how big this is and how many people need this for him. The smile that he has represents so much more than him being a 22-year-old man. We're talking about a culture of confidence. We're talking about a culture of Black parents, Black fathers, present fathers. We're talking about an entire culture that has come under attack because why should you be so confident? Why should you be so happy? Why should you have joy after we've taken everything that you worked for away? Because whose joy was it in the first place? It wasn't yours to take. It didn't come from you. So every time we go to work and somebody mistreats us, right? I know y'all go to work and somebody mistreats you. Every time that child that you raised who is ungrateful does another disrespectful act in your home. Every time that child that you've been praying for goes and does something else that they shouldn't be doing. Every time you don't reap the harvest that you should have reaped from the seeds that you planted, you can still have joy in a moment. Because whatever was intended for you to have is going to be yours. You can still have joy in the struggle. You can still take the test with a smile. Shedeur is teaching plenty of people how to survive under. Boy, I almost said something. Shedeur is teaching people how to survive under 45 in our community. Hello? Okay, y'all. All right, y'all. All right. Oh man. Well, I don't want to go. Yep. All right. Let me relax. I almost got started. Hold up. Hey man. Hey man. Listen. Y'all remember last November when Trump went into office? Default name, you got it. I call him 45 because he's 47 as well. But you know, all I'm saying is this. Y'all remember how people felt in our community when it felt like our voice was taken away, when it felt like somebody who had disrespected us publicly said crazy things and we just had to take it because that's what it is. There are so many people that could have folded. So many people that could have said, "Oh, life ain't worth living no more," because there's somebody who didn't think enough about me or my people to say, maybe I shouldn't say you loot, we shoot. And this is the person who's responsible for leading me and my family as the biggest politician in the world. But you can still keep a smile because he got a boss too. Okay. Y'all want to, yeah. He got a boss too. You feel me? Yeah. He got a boss too. Anybody who's going through something at work, excuse me. They got a boss too. You don't let nobody take your smile away because of what's going on the outside. So I've been so cool this whole time about this whole situation because I know I'm like, hold up. This boy still smiling. Shedeur still smiling. And Hold up. Yeah, hold on. I see. Yeah, it's some if it's something going crazy on down there, I'll take it back. But I don't want to get into politics. All I'm talking about is the tangible depression that a lot of people. It was a season of depression last year. And I know a lot of y'all felt it in our community. It's just the truth. I can't put my endorsement one way or the other. But I do know that last year people could have packed it in and folded, right? We had to keep going. And we kept going. I say this all the time. We are not far removed. And let this be a reminder. We ain't that far removed from being able to go to school with people who don't look like us. We not that far removed. We aren't that far removed. It's a joke that people call me MLD, and that's funny. But you can't forget about MLK. That's what, they want us to forget about MLK, but we can't forget about MLK. We can't forget about Brown versus the board. We can't forget about Malcolm X. We can't forget the giants of whose shoulders we're standing on. So if y'all really want to get into it, as a people, ain't this par for the course? Hello? Stokely Carmichael, ain't this par for the course? Let's go. And so many people that's going to pop in here and that's going to say, oh, look at Dukes. I got some people that's on my channel because of other content that I have. I literally had somebody on a message board for another fan base that I do content for. And one of the guys who was subscribed said, what is this mess? I didn't subscribe for this. And it was me talking about Shedeur balling out, right? And they had this whole discourse on me saying I don't like white people, saying I just only want black quarterbacks to be successful, and saying the only reason that I support Shedeur Sanders is because Coach Prime pays my bills. And I got so mad, and I wanted to go and I wanted to just go give every one of those people who said something crazy about me a piece of my mind. Because I don't work for nobody. I work for me. And I can afford to go say what I want to say. And I said, you know what? How much energy would I be spending doing that and worrying about people who are wrong in the first place, people who would never like me because of how I kick it, people who think these glasses and the clothes I wear are a costume. Why would I worry about them when there are other people on that message board who respect and love me and appreciate me, that know that I'm seeing these things and I can affect them way more with a smile than I could with some harsh words on the internet. I could affect them way more by going to work and dropping more content. I can affect them more by investing in myself and redoing my whole setup and going to buy a new computer and investing in myself. I can do way more for that next content creator that may see this and say, you know what, I can speak my mind because today is about direct to consumer more so than it is that big contract. And I can do it with a smile. So let's talk about Shedeur. Oh, here's a good one right here. I'm glad you said that. Default name. Default name said, talking about oppression with $4,000 worth of random stuff behind him on his $1,500 compute setup. You missed the R, default name. But let's talk about this. So you believe that because I can afford $4,000 worth of stuff, that 400 years worth of oppression goes away. Let's talk about a default name. You got the right, hey, let me tell you something. You got the right one tonight, baby. You know what Ray Charles say. So you would think that some Nike tennis shoes, a football helmet, and a hat, and a nice computer setup means that 400 years of oppression, slavery, bigotry, blatant racism, all of that goes away. People judging me and my people and people like me by dress codes and skin colors, and all of that goes away because I got a nice computer and some tennis shoes. Oh, okay, cool. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So this $4,000 worth of shoes and computer or whatever, what's that, 5,500? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So my dad, William Dukes, right? Born in 1942. His dad born in 1895. My great granddad born in 1845. 1, 2, 3. My granddad was born in 1895. Just so we know. And you mean to tell me that every story that he has about living in the South in these years goes away? Every story I ever heard about oppression goes away because, hey man, you get to wear tennis shoes. Oh, okay, cool. But I really just wanted to give Mr. Default, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that was a perfect example of people. Hold up, let me rephrase that. I'm not even gonna say the word, but that was a perfect example of quote unquote it still exists. Okay. That was a perfect example of it still existing. And that's okay. He didn't hijack my show, Mark. What he did was make my point. Because what if I allowed that comment to float in my mind and for me to question myself and for me to go say, you know what? I don't need a $1,500 computer. I didn't earn these shoes. You know, why do I deserve this? Because I want it. That's why. And for those people who fought for me to be able to have the ability to go buy these shoes, because there was a day where we couldn't. There was a day where we couldn't even go buy shoes in the same place. Default name. So I just want to say thank you for bringing that up, because you showed us that it still exists. That same it that thinks Shedeur has an entourage walking into a game and is really his teammate. That same it. That it exists. And so I just want to tell you thank you. I appreciate it, because without you, default name, it would have looked like we're in here chasing ghosts, but we not. We not. That's it. So for all of those who I know we didn't want to go there, and a lot of people feel like, well, dudes, you didn't have to respond, but it's always good to have some ignorance. Bring, come on in. We appreciate it. Because when we think about everything that Shedeur represents, even this motion right here, how people wanted him to put his hand down, how people wanted his spirit broken, for him to drop to the 5th round and they say, oh, you deserve that. You were never that good anyway. For sure. But where did they break his spirit? And so to the fans of Shedeur, I want you guys to do something. I want you to spend as much energy building him up, reposting the stats, talking about the things that he's done, showing the highlights of him in Colorado, showing the highlights of him at Jackson State. Put it in their face. Yeah. What did he do? Mm-hmm. What did he do to drop that low? Nobody knows. But this is what we'll do before we get out of here. I got some super chats. I'm gonna get to those in a minute. But this is what we're gonna do. I want everybody to practice this week. Let's be as grateful for the test as we are the testimony. And this is in our personal lives. Thank God for the test as well as the testimony. Let's try that. They always say praise God in the good and the bad, but that's so hard to do. But let's do that this week. We say fam in here. This is something I'm gonna practice for myself too. But let's be grateful for the test. If you really believe, if you're really under the assumption that Shedeur Sanders is being mistreated publicly, do not let his plight be in vain when you see his smile. Y'all ain't hear me on that one. If you really believe, and you a real auntie or a real uncle or a real brother, you somebody who you look at Shedeur and you feel that tie to him that a lot of people do not let his plight be in vain. You pick up that smile yourself and you be grateful in your test like Shedeur is being grateful in his. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the super chats. Man, I said MLD was coming out, but they tried to, boy. Noah a lot. $4.99 super chat. We appreciate it, man. He said they might try to bury 12. They're gonna play Kenny and Dillon first, so it might not be enough games and backdoor pick a quarterback in the first round. That's cool, but you can't. Hey, man, you can't bury a seed. You can only plant them. Appreciate that super chat, Noah a lot. Y Towns King $4.99 super chat. I appreciate it. I just seen Joe Burrow retreat backwards for a sec. I guess probably the best in the league. One of them, for sure. Appreciate that super chat, my dog. Right, you nigga said the doors of the church are now open. Amen. No, for sure. Amen, man. I appreciate it. $4.99 super chat, Rodney Dinkins. I appreciate that. Ella Nissa said, what's up, Ella Nissa? She says, my grandfather used to say, you walking heavy in his word tonight, dudes. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Hey, man, grateful. Grateful for the opportunity for us to be able to have this conversation and for us to be able to band together when we see it. When we see it, I wasn't alone. A lot of times we see it and we alone. We got to see it as a fam tonight, baby. Jermaine Thomas said $2 super chat. It's still it. That's all we're gonna say is it. It. I ain't gonna it. It still exists. Nobel Peace Prize nominee MLD, man. I appreciate it, dog. Morning Coffee says, is there a reason he won't hire Shiloh agent or Jalen Hurts agent to help him get traded? I don't think agent gonna do anything about this right now. Shiloh's agent is a good friend of Coach Prime. That's Robert Bailey. He works for Drew. He works at I think he's the president of Drew Rosenhaus Company. Really high-ranking member, Robert Bailey, who has the longest punt return in NFL history. Him and Coach Prime got a really good relationship, so that's who Shiloh's with. Hello, he did what Job did and will finish the same way. Favor. Okay, now that's Miss Bell 70 with the $1.99 super chat. Perry Unlikely. I like that name. $4.99 said, but Johnny Football can hold up the money sign and it's fine. How odd. But that was different. I'm saying like JC about OJ. Right. 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 Yeah, y'all know I ain't mean to go, you know. Yeah, I know I ain't mean to I ain't mean to go too crazy tonight, man. I apologize. I know y'all just want to talk a little ball, but you know, shoot, man. Sometimes it get like that. Y'all the ones started calling me MLD. It ain't my fault. Joe's World 86 says the it is still prevalent in today's world. We ain't talking about information technology. Hello. Appreciate that, Joe. Yeah. Anybody finna send me no, I ain't finna get no nasty email talking about, all right, dude, you're doing too much now. Capital BG, what's happening, my boy? He said, I'm missing the quarter combo. What's happening, dudes? Oh, it ain't that. Max said, I got to get that mod. Boy, you crazy. Yeah, you know, say that it is. And you know what's crazy? Even about it, you know, I don't be hating on Donald Trump. He did what he had to do. I just know what happened in my community. I just know how a lot of people felt about it. But regardless if your person won or they didn't, especially if you're in the culture, you got to smile and keep going because you cannot break. You can't keep. You cannot. I'm gonna leave you out with this. Hold up. Derek Brown with the 1999 super chat, man. I appreciate that for sure. D Brown said, Dukes, what are your thoughts on 12 playing next week? Also, do you think there's a possibility he could be traded? If so, which team do you see as the best fit and what situation would be most beneficial for him? Man, I would love to see 12 go to the Saints. Not as a Falcons fan, but just as a, you know, fan of the culture. As a fan of Shedeur, I would love to see him go to the Saints. I think that's a great situation for him. I think Kellen Moore would be great for him. I think he would really fit. And I think they need him. I think they got to be kicking themselves. For sure. They got to be kicking themselves. I think next week, I think you got to play them. I think they're going to play them. I don't know if they'll probably go. I can see two series repeat. I can see you starting out going Joe Flacco 2 to 3 series and then going either alternate series between Dylan and Shedeur or alternating every 2 between those 2. But I think those are the 3 you see play next week. I don't see them trading them. You know what I mean? But I think the situation I would want to see them traded to would be the Saints. Appreciate that super chat again, D Brown. Morning Coffee said, baby boy stranded in Cleveland. We're going to keep posting and keep him in prayer while he fights for his dream. Morning coffee. I appreciate it, man. Like you got to. I just want to make that clear that people, I know sometimes people may think like, damn, Deuce, you don't think he being mistreated? But I just don't give as much power to the I don't, man. Yeah. All right. I got one more MLD quote in me right now. Do you tell God how big your problem is? Or do you tell your problem how big your God is? Ain't nothing else to say. That's what we on. You hear me? You feel me? What? I'm telling you. Hey, this is a great one right here. Clearly being mistreated, but who hasn't as a black man in America should do the right man for the situation. Every black man should be taking notes. Yeah, man. I ain't gonna never sit back and act like, look, I went from a 99.8% black high school to a probably it was 6% black college at the time. And when it came to black males that did not play sports at Auburn University, it was less than 1% of the population. True numbers. And I'll say this. I've been around some cool people who didn't look like me for sure. Plenty of them. And I don't never want to get that confused. Been around some great people who did not look like me. And I've been around some not so great people, but they have been far the minority. But if you let somebody think that nobody had to pay, if you let somebody make you think that nobody had to pay for the freedom that we experience today, then then you don't want the bloodshed of those before us to go in vain. Definitely got to honor our people, man. So at the end of the day, I'm for the culture. If anybody ever said it, what? And that's what it is. Like, I ain't tripping, man. Like, I got plenty of good people around me and that don't look like me. I love it, to be honest. Because that's the spice of life. But at the same time, don't be no damn fool to think ain't nothing going on out here. You'd be crazy. All right, y'all. We had an hour. Man, let's get on up out of here, man. I appreciate it, man. It's been fun. Hey. I already gave the mic drop moment. Man, like, subscribe. Man, I appreciate y'all. Hey, if you out right now, make it home safe. And just for the record, Dukes love everybody. I love us all. All right, bet.